Imagine a world where history conceals its secrets in the shadows. A world where the past is not always what it seems. What if I told you that the annals of history are not just filled with conventional tales, but also with enigmas that defy explanation? There are things that are not taught in school. Welcome, Wisdom Seeker, to this week's episode. Today we embark on a journey to explore lesser-known facts in the pages of history. It might get a bit dusty in here, because the pages of history we are about to turn were closed for a long time. So, are you ready to embark on this fascinating voyage into the weirdest historical facts ever documented? Let's begin our exploration. Albert Einstein, the iconic physicist known for his groundbreaking theories of relativity, passed away in 1955. But what happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. In the dead of night, without permission from Einstein's family, a pathologist named Dr. Thomas Stoltz Harvey embarked on a clandestine mission to steal the most famous brain in the world. But why would anyone want Einstein's brain, and what did they hope to discover? The answer lies in the hope that this genius's brain might hold the key to unlocking the secrets of his unparalleled intellect. Dr. Harvey believed that by studying Einstein's brain, he could uncover what made him a scientific genius. Over the years, Harvey meticulously preserved Einstein's brain, sectioning it into thousands of pieces for examination. But the story takes another twist. Despite his best intentions, the scientific community remained skeptical of the entire endeavor. Many scientists questioned whether this unorthodox study would yield any meaningful insights into Einstein's brilliance. Some argued that the preservation process itself might have compromised the brain's integrity. Nevertheless, the study continued, and scientific curiosity persisted. Researchers examined the brain sections, searching for clues in its structure that might explain Einstein's extraordinary cognitive abilities. Eventually, in 1998, after decades of controversy, Einstein's brain sections were returned to his family for a proper burial. But the mysteries surrounding his genius and the peculiar tale of his brain's journey continue to captivate us to this day. While the results were inconclusive and the ethics of the brain theft remained a subject of debate, the story of Albert Einstein's stolen brain remains a fascinating chapter in history. Our story takes us to the Muromachi period in Japan, a time when samurai roamed the land, and the nation was undergoing significant cultural and political changes. But in 1440, something extraordinary happened in the skies above the small Japanese village of Kashima. According to historical records, a local scribe documented the sighting of strange, round objects that appeared in the sky on a clear day. These objects were described as floating silver wheels, and they remained visible for several hours. What's fascinating about this account is that it predates the modern concept of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, by centuries. There were no aircraft or known technologies in that era that could explain these sightings. Furthermore, the scribe who documented the event did so with great precision, noting the date, time, and detailed observations of the object's movements and appearance. However, like many ancient UFO sightings, this account raises more questions than answers. What were these strange, round objects, and where did they come from? Some experts speculate that the sighting could have been a natural, astronomical event, such as a rare celestial alignment or atmospheric phenomenon. Others suggest it might have been a misinterpretation of a meteorological or astronomical occurrence. Nevertheless, the Kashima sighting remains one of the earliest recorded instances of unidentified aerial phenomena, offering a unique glimpse into how people of the past perceived unexplained events in the sky. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter unearthed the long-lost tomb of the young pharaoh Tutankhamun, a discovery that captivated the world. But what followed was a series of mysterious deaths among those involved in the excavation, leading to the belief in a curse associated with the tomb. The idea of a curse took root when Lord Carnarvon, one of the financial backers of the expedition, died unexpectedly from an infected mosquito bite shortly after the tomb's opening. This was followed by a string of deaths among other individuals connected to the expedition, including members of the archaeological team and even those who visited the tomb. The media sensationalized these events, fueling speculation about a curse. Newspapers across the globe ran stories of supernatural retribution and ancient Egyptian curses. But was there any truth to the curse, or was it merely a series of unfortunate coincidences? Many experts today attribute the deaths to natural causes, infections, and the general risks associated with excavation work in a time when medical knowledge and safety measures were limited. Nevertheless, the legend of King Tuts Curse persists and continues to captivate our imaginations. It serves as a reminder of the human tendency to seek mysterious explanations for unexplained events. You may have heard the common belief that Napoleon was exceptionally short, earning him the nickname, the Little Corporal. But in reality, this historical fact is a case of misinformation. So, how did the misconception about Napoleon's height originate, and why did it persist for so long? The misconception can be traced back to several factors. First, Napoleon's height was often reported in French units, which differed from the British imperial units used by his adversaries. In French measurements, he stood at about 5 feet 2 inches, 1.57 meters, which was average for a Frenchman of his time. Second, British political cartoons of the early 19th century portrayed Napoleon as short and comically exaggerated his stature to undermine his image. These cartoons played a significant role in perpetuating the myth. Additionally, Napoleon's personal guards were known as the Old Guard, and they were typically taller than the average soldier. This contrast may have contributed to the perception of him as shorter. It's essential to note that while Napoleon was of average height for his time and region, he was an exceptional military leader and strategist. His rise to power and conquests across Europe had little to do with his physical stature and much more to do with his tactical brilliance. So, why is this misconception worth addressing? It reminds us of the power of historical myths and the importance of critically examining the information we receive. Napoleon's height misconception serves as a cautionary tale, urging us to question commonly held beliefs and seek the truth behind historical narratives. While public restrooms today are often mundane spaces, the latrines of ancient Rome were far from ordinary. They were social hubs complete with seating and conversation areas. Let's take a seat and journey back in time to discover this fascinating aspect of Roman culture. In ancient Rome, the concept of hygiene and cleanliness held great importance. Public latrines were places not just for relieving oneself, but also for relaxation and socializing. They were typically located in the heart of Roman cities and featured rows of stone or wooden seats with holes. What sets these latrines apart from modern restrooms is the communal seating arrangement. Romans would gather, sit together, and engage in conversation while taking care of their business. The latrines also showcased the Roman obsession with running water and sanitation. They were often built above running water channels, allowing a continuous flow to carry away waste. While it may sound unconventional to us today, these latrines were more than just practical spaces. They were symbols of Roman civilization's advancement in plumbing and engineering. The latrines weren't exclusive to the wealthy either. They were accessible to people from all walks of life, making them democratic spaces where people of different social statuses could interact. In ancient Egypt, the absence of facial hair wasn't just a matter of personal grooming. It was a symbol of social status and power. So, what did the Egyptians do to showcase their prestige when Mother Nature didn't cooperate? They turned to an ingenious solution: fake beards. That's right. Many pharaohs, priests, and high-ranking officials opted to wear artificial beards made from various materials, such as metal or even real human hair. These artificial beards were a symbol of authority, wisdom, and divine favor. But why were beards so highly esteemed in ancient Egypt? It's believed that they were associated with the god Osiris, who was often depicted with a prominent beard. By wearing fake beards, Egyptians were not merely imitating the divine, but aligning themselves with the divine order of the universe. Now, here's where it gets even more fascinating. These fake beards weren't just worn haphazardly. They were carefully styled and adorned with colorful decorations like gold and gemstones. Each beard style conveyed specific meanings, from a simple chin-strap beard to a fuller, more ornate version. Moreover, the wearer's social status and role influenced the choice of beard. Pharaohs often wore the most elaborate and decorative beards, while priests and officials had their own distinct styles. The use of fake beards continued for centuries, becoming a defining characteristic of ancient Egyptian culture and a symbol of the wearer's authority. However, as the centuries passed and Egyptian society evolved, the significance of these artificial beards gradually faded, and they fell out of fashion. While Sir Isaac Newton is renowned for his groundbreaking contributions to physics and mathematics, his life was far from ordinary. He was known for his peculiar behaviors, some of which might leave you astounded. Let's start with one of the most remarkable tales about Newton, his curious experiment involving a needle and his eye. Yes, you heard it right. In the pursuit of understanding light and color, Newton inserted a needle into his own eye, right between the eyeball and the socket. He then observed the effects of pressure and the appearance of colors. Now, before you cringe at the thought, it's essential to remember that Newton didn't use a large or sharp needle. Still, this audacious experiment showcases his unwavering dedication to the study of optics. But that's not the only quirk in Newton's life. He was deeply involved in alchemical experiments, a field often considered unscientific today. Newton believed that alchemy held the secrets to transmuting base metals into gold and uncovering hidden knowledge. Another aspect of Newton's eccentricity was his intense focus on his work. He was known to become so absorbed in his studies and calculations that he often forgot to eat or sleep, sometimes working through the night. This level of dedication led to many groundbreaking discoveries, including his laws of motion and the universal law of gravitation, which transformed our understanding of the physical world. In essence, Isaac Newton's eccentricities were intertwined with his genius. His unorthodox methods and fearless experimentation paved the way for some of the most significant scientific breakthroughs in history. Cleopatra's story is legendary, but it's her death that remains shrouded in mystery and intrigue. You may have heard the dramatic tale of her suicide by the bite of an asp, as told by ancient historians. However, the true cause of her demise is still a subject of debate among scholars. Let's examine the popular version of events first. According to ancient accounts, Cleopatra, facing capture by the Roman forces of Octavian, later known as Emperor Augustus, chose to end her life in a dramatic fashion. She is said to have smuggled a deadly asp, a venomous snake, into her chamber concealed in a basket of figs. As the story goes, she allowed the snake to bite her, leading to her death. This narrative has been romanticized in art and literature, portraying Cleopatra as a symbol of tragedy and love. But here's the twist. Many historians question the authenticity of this story. Some experts argue that Cleopatra's suicide might have been a carefully crafted political statement. By choosing this method, she could have defied the Romans and maintained a semblance of control over her destiny, even in defeat. Another theory suggests that she may have used a different method to end her life, as the asp's venomous bite can be extremely painful and not necessarily a swift means of death. So, why the mystery surrounding her death? It's important to consider the political climate of the time. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the annexation of Egypt by the Roman Empire. The details of her death could have been manipulated to fit the narratives of those in power. Despite the uncertainty, Cleopatra's life and death continue to captivate our imaginations, serving as a symbol of resilience and defiance against overwhelming odds. While this journey comes to an end, we are reminded that history is not just a collection of dates and events. It's a tapestry of enigmas and revelations. It reminds us that the past is a treasure trove of stories waiting to be explored. I hope this journey has left you with a sense of wonder and a thirst for knowledge. Remember, the pursuit of wisdom knows no bounds, and history has an endless supply of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As we close this chapter of Trail of Wisdom, I want to express my gratitude to you, Wisdom Seeker, for joining us on this adventure. Your curiosity and passion for learning make this journey all the more rewarding. So, until we meet again, stay curious, keep seeking knowledge, and never stop exploring the rich tapestry of history. Don't forget to subscribe so you can find out more in our channel.